got a problem, you seem late, you explain. You think I'm fed up, shit with gay, fade away. My girls tell me to let you do the grave, but I ain't way too prideful, I can't do it that way. No.
Hey y'all, so it is finally 2021. I say finally lightly because we know what 2020 was like, but we have made it here, we survived, and that's what I am most grateful for. So this year was a little different, knowing that we're going into COVID still and that there's just no type of restrictions or structure as to what's going on. So I think last year, not knowing what was ahead of us, there were just like limits to my goals, but now I'm trying to make sure that I'm conscious of how the state of the world is going to be while, living my life, adjusting to that new state of life and like everything that could come with this year. So for this year, I focus more so on traits and words that I can aspire to rather than, oh, you're going to go to Dubai this year when girl, borders are closed. Just being transparent, I've spent so much time being like, oh, why am I not further, or like what's holding me back type thing, but I never sat and honestly said to myself like, well, girl, there's a big part of you that lacks discipline. Like, you can have as many ideas as you want to, but if you don't have the discipline, structure, and the know-how to advance, you're just not going to advance. And so there was like podcasts that I was listening to about business-minded people, and they're saying like it's really not always the most talented person that's on top, it is the hardest working. And I was lacking the hard work and dedication that was needed just for various reasons. I knew that I had the talent, but I needed to work harder in order to get my name in these rooms and to advance and grow like I wanted to. Because for me, sharing my art is enough, but me wanting to monetize or have actual business opportunities behind this, I need to do more. For me, I told myself that I was going to go back to batch creating, which is something that I did more so in 2019. Batch creating is just getting a whole bunch of content out of, say, a destination or a studio photo shoot and being able to use those photos for an extended amount of time. And that is what I was speaking to about like lessening the stress. So I was like, okay, I just need to figure out ways to do multiple looks in a day, whether that be in the studio or outside, and so that I can just use those, as well as, since I'm like always archiving my posts, I can come back and use some of those old posts that go more so with the theme. So I was going with like the kind of pinkish and the softer tones of a recent shoot that I did, but I have a shoot where I want to do like 90s punk and grunge inspired, and so I'm kind of shifting it into a darker theme in my Instagram. I could bring that out with current pictures that I've taken as well as old pictures that I have from the past, and so that's gonna help me not like have to, I have to buy stuff or I have to do so many different days of shooting just to keep up. And I still am pacing myself where I'm posting every other day, which of course, based on the algorithms and just how success works nowadays, I should be posting every day, but I am starting where I am, and every other day is perfect for me at the moment. And I'm always constantly on my stories, and I implement reels as well. So this is something that I know that I can do and is manageable for me right now. Really, if you were to pick apart everything that I just said, consistency is a word, discipline, as I stated before, is a word that I'm looking to conquer this year. And authenticity, I find myself to be like already authentic, but I want to practice being more authentic in the sense that like this is really truly something that is in my desires, and I'm not like, oh my god, is this weird to other people, or people gonna understand, and just saying like, I know exactly what I meant in creating or posting something, and so it's just gonna be out there. Because I am more so art based, I know what people respond to, but that's not always what propels me to post, like, because I care and I don't care. So it's just kind of like for instance, I've been posting a lot of black and white, which I personally really love black and white photos, but my audience doesn't, and so I can see my engagement dropping when I do black and white photos, but like I don't care because I like it. And I had a reason for doing that and the vision and everything that I was creating, so it's just kind of like I may not get the most engagement, but it's going with my art and my arc with my artistry, if that makes sense. So for my art, it's going to be disciplines, consistency, and authenticity are the words for this year. Speaking to that, I've had to change a lot of things about myself when I create because I'm just so left brain or right brain. Is it right brained? One of my brains are stronger than the other. I needed to bring about more structure within my life, which is easy to do when you're in school and everything, but when you have to do it on your own, it is not fun. It's not easy at all, at least for me. So I've just found easier, more manageable ways for me to achieve that. This right here, always on her phone, and so I needed to make sure that I was using it in the right way. So I've started to use my Google Docs a lot and my Google Calendar as well as my Apple Calendar. So I do a lot of different things. So I have, you know, put up this YouTube and everything. I have my photo shoots and the video shoots that I do. I have a podcast. And then I also photograph other people. So those are all things I need to coordinate within myself. And so I use each app for different things. And I also forgot to mention I use my notes app heavy. So I have different portions like this right now. Coincidentally, what is up is my fashion folder, and in there is like when I do like fashion inspired shoots, is where I put the notes in that. And then right there, what was open were my IG captions, because I'm just not the best at that. And so like if I find a song lyric or an idea that I want to explore, I just write it down, which is easier for me. So I'm not always like no caption today, you know. It's like I can switch it up a little bit. I can be like tell personal stories, or I can just do the cutesy like lyric post, which really helps me. So I have that. I have a photography folder. This is something that's really helpful for me. Now, some of these locations, I delete them once I go to them, but right now I only have a few where I just drive. Like if I'm going somewhere, I always am looking at my surroundings and I look for things where I'm like, okay, that would be really cool to shoot there. And so usually I put like little quick notes down that say like, oh, between 4th Street and Broad or whatever. So that I know next time I'm like, oh, I want to shoot downtown or something, I can go to that area, and then as soon as I'm there, it'll ignite like, oh, I know where I want to go here. And then there's other spots that I just frequent. There's one area where it's like in between these two buildings that's really cool. There's like a building that's like all black brick, which is really dope. Like if you think like a pop of color outfit, there's like a fenced in like kind of garage type gate over there. There is a there's a warehouse door and like worn down steps. So that's really what I look for when I'm scouting locations, is like, can I just change my outfit and turn around and have a whole different feel? That is ideal, because if you are trying to shoot multiple outfits in a day, I'm a person, I don't really want to drive around everywhere. So in my city, Columbus, like downtown is ideal. And as I said, there's like, you can turn and there's all these different feels and areas where I can change my outfit and it'll give me a whole different vibe. So that's what I look for when I'm looking for locations. And then I also just have an ideas app, which is very straightforward. So when I come up with an idea, I like to flesh it out. In my younger age, I had a better memory, so I could just like scribble stuff down and I would know what I'm talking about, but I can't do that anymore. So I kind of have to start fleshing out the idea. And then put that in the notes app. And sometimes I have one idea that is yet to be produced, but it's like pretty much like a stream of consciousness. It's been a poem, it's been like an interview type thing with myself, asking questions, and I just write all of that all down, because I know once I start to storyboard it, then I can put all those different inspiration and those pieces together, and that will help me when I'm building upon my story for the video. I have all these different ideas, and then I think about logistically, like financially, when can I do those things? Like when can they happen? What do I need in order to achieve those things? So I have Airbnbs booked, I have studio shoots and everything, and so I do it that way. I categorize it that way as well. Like, okay, you're gonna have to book a studio for this, or you can go outside and do this, no biggie, but you may need like a different kind of wig. That's pretty much my notes app and what I do there. And then, as I stated, with my podcast, I don't put stuff in my personal calendar. So a personal calendar is for my personal things, as well as, like I said, if I'm booking a studio in my Airbnb, I have those already booked for January, and I put those in there. But I kind of cycle through Google Calendars. It's specific for my podcast, and then the Google Docs is what we use and share. Like the Google Docs, we write like what date we need to record, and then the Google Calendar shows the date of when something is going to be released. So putting those in two separate areas helps me, so it's like not double stacked on one calendar and you're trying to sift through it. So I think what helps the most for me is like separate as much as you can. Kind of like if you had a physical folder and you color coordinate. Now I am physical with like drawings and other ideas I have, which I keep in this folder here. But I really do like doing stuff online. It's just easier for me, and I can type faster than I can write physically. So if it's like a big idea or multiple ideas, I'm going to use my phone. But something I'm really milking and marinating and spending time with, I go ahead and use my my notebook that I showed you. So yeah, that's all that I had to share. Pretty straightforward in my goals and how I'm achieving that, and how I had to come and organize myself because it was all over the place. And like, for example, when I did the Halloween, the 10 days of Halloween, it was just like I had all the things that I wanted to create, but I didn't have a schedule of when I needed to shoot. And so that's like towards the end where it got kind of crunched up and overwhelming. And like there was like 2 photos that weren't my best, and I was like, I should reshoot these. Like I shouldn't have put them out, but I didn't have a schedule, and so I was just like, oh, do I feel like doing that today? No, not really. And that's another thing I did for myself, is I've built in days where I just relax. So instead of being like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, oh wait, Saturday, I gotta like do all this stuff, I just mapped it out. So it's like, which comes first? Like for example, my studio shoot comes next week, the 22nd. So you need to finish that wig and make sure you have all your outfits put together for that first. Then you can go ahead and work on what you have booked for the 28th. You know, organizing it that way, as well as like you don't have to work on that every day just to feel sufficient. Just take days where you dedicate to that booking, as I said. So some days I'm working on that 22nd booking or that 28th booking, and then the next day just like take a break. The next day just say like, oh, okay, I'm gonna clean the house, or I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna do this and that. Or it could be like, today I know I want to shoot a video and I want to take some pictures, so I got that done today, and that's it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I have to work for this, I have to work for this, when you don't really need to. So yeah, as I said, that's all I wanted to share, just in my organizational things that I shifted within myself, as well as the goals that I have for 2021. So let me know if you guys have goals as well, and how you best organize, because I would love to know what other creatives do. And thanks for watching.
Cause I ain't one of them, it's okay, babe, I ain't one of them, but my silence women while you're tripping, cause we were